Yo, what is going on, you Slackers? I am your host, Slackerz Gaming, bringing you the bringing you the next matchup in our potential newcomer tournament. And real quick, if you haven't seen it before, I created a tournament of 36 potential newcomers and put them into a matchup. Each day, I upload one matchup, one video, and then I go over some pros for each character, and then we vote for whoever we want to see move on. And yeah, the way you vote is by telling me who you want in the particular matchup for the day down in the comments below. And then voting stays open for one 7-day period. So 7 days from now, we'll find out the results of today's matchup. And then, yeah, we see who moves on and who loses. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for, I think, the basic rules. So let's get into today's matchup, which was from game 24, which pitted Buzzwole from the Pokemon series and Ultra Beast against Nestor, a WTF character that is pretty obscure. So I think you could probably figure where this is going since Buzzwole was a Pokemon. I think more people just recognize the name at least. Seeing quite a few things in the comments. People didn't know who Nestor was. Don't blame them. But Buzzwole 27-6 wins that pretty easily. So let's mark that real quick. 27, Nestor only 6, which means Nestor is now knocked out. He is done from the tournament. That is another rule I forgot to say. It is a double elimination tournament, so if you lose twice overall throughout the tournament, you are done. So that is Nestor's second loss. So let's go put Nestor over here now. Nestor gonna go right about here. There we go. All right, so we got 4 characters who are now completely eliminated from the tournament. Sad, but we knew it was coming eventually. People are going to get knocked out. So let's get into today's matchup, which is game number 30, Springman versus Rayman. Now, Springman ended up winning his match by default because Springman's original opponent was Chrom, but by the time I uploaded Chrom, it was too late to re-upload like a rematch kind of thing or a revote, because Chrom got confirmed, and we all know that. So I replaced Chrom with Celica, and Celica ended up having to take the loss, unfortunately. So Springman moved on by default, like I said. So Celica's in the loser bracket, but still has a chance. Still has a chance. So let's get into today's matchup, Springman and Rayman. So Springman, get the basic and obvious out of the way. From the series ARMS, one of Nintendo's newest IPs. Sold very well, I believe. I think last count I knew was, a couple months ago. It sold about 1.5 million copies, which was pretty good. That number might be higher. It could be. I don't know. But sold pretty well for its first franchise, or first installment into the franchise. It looked pretty good for the series, you know. And a lot of people enjoyed it, but I think a lot of the fan base kind of fell off immediately. But when thinking about Smash Bros. And newcomers, especially new IPs, Splatoon came to mind, and then Inklings got confirmed, and then ARMS got, was thrown around in there. But a lot of people like to say that ARMS in general was too new of a series, and that's typically, I think, the case for new franchises. If there's a new Smash Bros. Game right on the horizon and a brand new franchise comes out, and it actually does pretty well, it still has to prove itself, and I think that's where ARMS is as a series. So, I mean, I could see somebody from ARMS, most likely Springman, being a playable character, but more as DLC, because, again, this is the ultimate version of Smash. They're getting so many characters, whether it's, unique fighters or Echo fighters, whatever it might be. So I could potentially see Springman, maybe Ribbon Girl, maybe alternate costumes, maybe Echo fighters of each other, but I could see that happening. So Springman's in a tough spot just because I think it's still too new, but I think it has good potential for DLC characters. So yeah, that's what I got for that. So anyway, got to move on to Springman's opponent, which is Rayman. So again, let's get the obvious ones out of the way. Rayman, third party. When Smash was first announced and people were thinking of what third-party characters, a lot of people had Rayman at the top of the expected list. Maybe not their wanted list, but the expected list, just because of how Nintendo and Ubisoft had a great working relationship. You know, they had the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, the crossover game. It sold very well. You know, Ubisoft always seems to support Nintendo no matter what console it is. So they seem to have a great working relationship. And since Ubisoft as a company doesn't have a rep in Super Smash Bros. Playable, Rayman pretty much kind of shot to the top of the list of expected characters, and I'm definitely in that boat. I still think Rayman is going to be a playable character. I do. I think it'll be in the initial roster. I'd be a little surprised if he wasn't. Now, is Rayman the kind of third party that's going to generate so much hype about the game and, you know, his inclusion? That's a bit iffy. You know, he's not like gaming like royalty. His name is known. He's not like his games. I think it's in Japan. He's not big at all. If I remember, some people have told me that he's not big, or his games just don't sell too well in Japan. So that could be taken into consideration. Who knows? I mean, the way I see it, I think Rayman would be playable, and then they could use the Rabbids as assist trophies. I think Rabbids would fit perfectly as an assist trophy. So maybe even their gimmick or their outfits from Mario Kingdom, the Kingdom Battle game, you know, I think that would be perfect. So, I mean, would I be super stoked about Rayman in Smash? Not really. I've never been a fan of Rayman. I've never even owned a Rayman game. But in terms of this matchup, I'm going to vote for Rayman. I think he would be more likely between the two to get into the initial roster. That's my pick. I do think Springman has a good chance to be DLC because it's just the ultimate game and, you know, all that stuff. So I can see both of them, but I think Rayman gets my vote for this one. Seems still, I think Rayman, the conversation kind of seemed to like just drop off once characters started getting announced. Nobody really brought up Rayman anymore. All these leaks are, you know, nobody mentions him, so nobody's even thinking about him anymore. I still think he's still is a high possibility, but I guess only time will tell. So that brings us to the end of today's upload and video. So again, let me know who you guys are voting for down in the comments. Do you think Springman or Rayman has a better chance to be in the initial roster? And if you want to say why, go ahead too. I love reading that. Some people's opinions and, you know, why they think that character would be in is actually pretty neat. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. And like I said, that's going to wrap up this one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed as usual. Hopefully we catch you guys on the next one. Peace out, everybody.